It is the morning of June 8th, 1816, and you wake in a New England farmhouse to a cold you should not feel this deep into spring. You go to the window. The garden you planted 3 weeks ago is white, not with dew, with snow. Half a foot of it lies across the corn rows, and the young shoots underneath have already turned black. It is nearly summer, and winter has come back to kill your food. By the time this year is over, you will call it the year 1800 and froze to death. Stay with me, and you will know exactly what it was like to live through the summer that never came. For months now, the sun has looked sick. It rises dull and red, and you can stare straight at it at noon without hurting your eyes, like looking at a coal going out. Some evenings a brown haze sits along the horizon, and the sunsets burn a strange muddy orange. People say the spots on the sun are the cause. Preachers say it is a warning. No one in your town knows the truth, because the truth happened on the far side of the world. 11 months earlier, in April of 1815, a mountain called Tambora in the Dutch East Indies blew itself apart in the largest volcanic eruption in recorded human history. It killed tens of thousands of people directly and threw a veil of ash and sulfur so high into the sky that it spread around the whole planet. That veil is now hanging over your farm in Vermont, dimming the sun and stealing the summer, and you will live your entire life without ever learning why the cold came. There are other signs, if you know to look. On clear days, you can see dark spots crawling across the face of the dimmed sun with your bare eyes, the largest anyone can remember. A dry, colorless fog hangs in the air on windless mornings and will not lift, not even in rain. The old people say they have never in 70 years seen a sky behave this way, and they cross themselves and keep their fears low. You do the same. There is planting to be done, whatever the sky is doing. You are a farmer, and everything you own is measured in what you can grow before the frost. So you plant. In May, the frost takes the first crop. You plant again. In early June, the snow takes the second. You save what seed you have left, and you plant a third time praying. And in July, in the middle of what should be the hottest week of the year, a hard frost comes down in the night and kills that one too. The corn is the heartbreak. Corn needs long, warm nights to ripen, and this year the nights never warm. The stalks come up thin and pale and simply stop, ears half formed, kernels soft as milk. Frost bites the fields in June, July, and August. The hay does not grow. Without hay, you cannot feed your animals through the coming winter. And every farmer around you knows it at the same moment, which means there is nowhere to buy more. The work does not stop, though. You are out before dawn in a coat, breath showing, trying to coax something living out of frozen ground. Your hands crack. Your back gives out. And still the ground gives nothing back. You feel the year first in your stomach. A bushel of corn that cost you less than $1 last year now costs $2, then $3, then more than most families can pay at all. Wheat, potatoes, hay, all of it climbs as the failed harvest comes in thin across every farm in the region. So the table gets smaller. You stretch a little flour with more water. You dig the potatoes early and eat them small. You eat the seed you meant to save, which means next spring will be harder, and you know it even as you swallow. Families boil nettles and eat the tops of hedgerow plants they would have thrown to the pigs a year ago. And you make the coldest arithmetic a farmer ever makes. You have animals you cannot feed, so you slaughter the ones you were counting on to breed, because a dead cow feeds you now, and a starving cow feeds no one in March. Across New England that autumn, livestock are killed by the thousands, not for profit, but because there is no hay to carry them to spring. If you could see past your own valley, you would find that your suffering is small. In Europe, the summer is worse. Cold rain falls for weeks without stopping. Harvests fail across Ireland, Wales, Germany, Switzerland, and France. Grain prices double and then double again, and where there is hunger, sickness follows. A typhus epidemic breaks out of the famine and moves through Ireland and across the continent, killing tens of thousands. In the towns, there are bread riots. People break into granaries. Governments call out soldiers to guard the flour. On a cold, gray lakeshore in Switzerland that same summer, a group of English travelers are trapped indoors by the endless rain, and to pass the dark days they hold a contest to see who can write the most frightening story. One of them is a young woman named Mary Shelley. The tale she begins in that sunless June becomes the novel Frankenstein. The gloom that is starving your fields is, at the very same hour, giving the world one of its most famous nightmares. Back home, the failed year plants an idea in half of New England at once. If the land here will not feed you, there is land to the west, in Ohio and Indiana, where they say the soil is deep and the summers hold. That autumn and the next spring, tens of thousands of families load wagons and leave the stony farms their grandfathers cleared. They call it the Ohio fever. The year without a summer does not only kill crops, it empties towns and pushes a whole generation of Americans west. By 1817, the ash finally thins, the sun returns to its right color, and the summer comes back as if it had only been holding its breath. The fields green again, the prices ease. To anyone born after, it becomes a strange old story the grandparents tell. The year it snowed in June. But it left marks that outlast the frost. It was the last great famine of the Western world, the final time a bad harvest could starve whole regions of Europe. It scattered New England families across the map and helped fill the young states of the interior. And it stands as the quiet proof of something people in 1816 could not have imagined, that a single mountain on the far side of the earth could reach into a Vermont cornfield and take the summer away. You never knew the mountain's name. You only knew the cold and the black corn and the long arithmetic of a hungry winter. That was what it was to live through the year without a summer.